Summer is here, and that means trips to the beach, days in the sun, and plenty of Carolina blue skies. It's also the busiest season for buying and selling homes, so it's the Sharp Mortgage team's favorite time of year. Are you thinking of buying a home this summer in our beautiful area of the Triad of North Carolina? Well, look no further than Highlands Mortgage, where exceptional service meets unwavering dedication. They understand that purchasing a home is more than just a transaction. It's a milestone. Their team ensures your experience is smooth, responsive, and genuinely caring from start to finish. So why buy a home this summer with them? Well, you get personalized customer service. They pride themselves on offering great customer service tailored to your unique needs. Their responsiveness is unmatched. They're always just a call or email away, ready to promptly address any questions or concerns. And of course, you'll get expert guidance. You can rely on their knowledge and over 20 years of experience to navigate the often complicated world of home buying with confidence and ease. Summer's the perfect time to find your dream home in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, or anywhere in the North Carolina Triad. Let the Sharp Mortgage team guide you every step of the way. With their caring and responsive mortgage team, make your home buying journey this summer memorable. Just call 336-575-9448 to get started. 336-575-9448.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Downtown Winston-Salem podcast. My name is Jason Thiel, president of the Downtown Partnership. And today, I have two special guests that are working on a collaboration between their two institutions. Jennifer O'Kelly, who many downtown folks should know from her many years of service on Trade Street, Liberty Street, other places. She's an artist and founding artist of Delurk Gallery on 6th Street, just to the west of Trade Street. And we also have Alan Shelton. Alan Shelton is the founder and current operations director of Mixer. Mixer is located on Martin Luther King Boulevard, and it's great to have you both here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. That was great.
Wanted to educate our listeners about the two of you guys, and I know that people read about you, your institutions, the works that you do, and we'll start with you, Jennifer, but tell us a little bit about yourself, you as an individual, as a person, like your background.
Grew up in Fort Worth, Texas. My mother is a portrait artist, pretty well known, and my father is a landscape architect, which in Texas is also an engineer. Of sorts, and I came to North Carolina to study scenic design to get my master's after spending 2 or 3 years working professionally in the Fort Worth, Dallas area as a lighting designer. So I have my master's from North Carolina School of the Arts, and then my husband and I, both in entertainment, did work up and down the East Coast of North America, and decided eventually to settle in the Winston-Salem area, Piedmont Triad, but specifically Winston-Salem, just because of the commitment to the arts, and it's closer to the mountains. And we just liked the city's approach to green space and trying to fill in the city center. I, as a Fort Worth native, was actually drawn to Winston-Salem because even though it's a much, much smaller community, the spirit of the community felt similar to me. So that's how I wound up here.
You well know, given our time together, that we had an intersect in Fort Worth, although you had left before I got there, but that's where I moved here from. Our oldest son, who's now 19, was born there, and Fort Worth is not my native location, but I really enjoyed living there. The one thing that's different about Fort Worth is it's in the part of Texas where trees aren't as dominant. You're right on the edge of the escarpment. If you're in Dallas, it still seems to be part of the East Coast, and as you get towards Fort Worth, they say it's where the West begins. It's
a frontier town, and it has that frontiering personality. We say in Fort Worth that Dallas is where the East peters out. So.
There's no love lost between the two cities,
no,
is there?
Not at all.
They call it, like I was watching a golf tournament, and they call the area the Metroplex, and nobody calls it the Metroplex except the people that live there, and I don't even think they're that excited about calling it the Metroplex.
I think that goes back to the 60s. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, Alan, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to Winston-Salem and your background.
Well, my background is not quite as interesting as Jennifer's. I've lived here in Winston, within 10 miles of Winston my whole life. But I like it here, and there's no other place I'd like to live. So I've been a fixer, builder, doer of things my whole life. If I were found at a concert, for example, I would never want to be the person behind the microphone. I would want to be the people who made the microphones work so that they could perform, and that's always been my role. And so that's how I became the founder of Mixer Community Makerspace. It's a place that provides resources for people who simply just need to make things. Sometimes it's for a hobby, but we have people starting new businesses there who are inventing new products and things like that have to be engineered, prototypes created. One of the things that I love about my job is I get to see people go through the creative process of starting with an idea and everything's rosy and it's going to be great, and then they struggle through all of the ways that their idea didn't work. And then my job, and something that I'm really good at, is helping people get through that struggle so they can get to the other side where they've got it figured out and now they're successful as an artist, an engineer, an entrepreneur, just people who create things.
Is the state of creativity in the trades, the ideas of ingenuity and the ability for someone to, with their hands and tools, whether it be a welding machine or something that they can bang out with or electrically wire up or use some type of innovative through their minds, is that something that's still alive and well here in this country?
Oh, very much so. I will say that I have had plenty of conversations where someone will come in and say, I want to make, and then you fill in the blank. What they actually meant was, I would like to, without expending any energy, be able to do the thing I just said I want to do. Now, that happens, but it doesn't take long to figure out if they're someone who wishes they could do something or someone who's willing to invest the time and energy to figure out how to actually do the thing that they want to do.
So for a lot of people, they may not know what Mixer is, and I think for them, this is a place where many of the creative functions of the maker space can come together, rent space, have access to tools, and create with other like-minded people and create in a creative environment along with other programs. And it's kind of like a lot of things, that there's shared space for musicians, artists, and this is for people that want to work with skilled trades.
Yeah. We have classes for people to just come try something, and that's a very easy way for you to figure out which side of that line you're going to be on, whether you wish you could do something or you're willing to invest in it. It doesn't cost much. And part of our mission, or the primary part of our mission, is not only to make all these tools and equipment accessible to people, is to make it accessible to people regardless of your experience, your background. So you can come in and not know anything about the journey you're getting ready to take, or you could be very experienced. And we specialize the training to each individual. It's not a checklist that we go off for training for people. But in our shop, we have woodworking and metalworking, more traditional tools. And so the training is specific to each individual person based on their previous experience. We also have 3D printers and laser cutters, a computer lab. We even have a film academy, and so we have several computers set up with all the software for doing advanced film editing and a lot of the hardware to do that with. And oftentimes it's not about safety when we're training people in those regards. It's about how do you get from idea to finished product. And not only do we offer, the basic training to help people be able to begin learning how to use these tools and equipment, we also have a whole community of people to support you in those efforts. And so it's a very social atmosphere at Mixer.
That's the best way to learn new skills is through access to people that you can't figure it all out via YouTube, although I've tried.
It's a good start, but they leave a lot out.
Yeah, they do.
I guarantee you there's a lot.
And it's a membership model, right, Alan?
Yeah.
And so to learn more, you would go to wsmixer.com.
You can go to wsmixer.com, which will redirect you to wsmixer.org.
.org, okay.
Yeah. And then you can find about our staff and all the different opportunities we have there. So in addition to the classes and all the special events that we have our youth education programs led by Jason Legess, who we just hired this year, who is helping us expand that program to be a year-round program, not just summertime. Serves students in grades 6 through 12, subjects from metal casting and woodworking all the way to computer coding, video game design, fashion design, drone technology, construction using cardboard, which is one of the most fun classes for a lot of the students. And then what we come to talk about here today is our annual event, Arts on Fire, which Arts on Fire, that's the new name for this year, but this is something we've been doing. This is probably our 5th time doing it. We have an iron pour, which I'll explain more about that in a little while, but a lot of people don't know what an iron pour is until they get there and they see all the flames and the fire and the sparks flying through the air. So we always have, as part of a much larger event, this year it will happen on September 15th, which is a Sunday. It starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when the Food Truck Festival starts, and that's on 9th Street, right behind Mixer. So in addition to all the food trucks that will be there, there'll probably be 20 plus food trucks there, some of the best food trucks in the Triad. Well, all the best food trucks in the Triad, I'm sure. We'll also have live music. We'll have artist booths set up where people can see and buy things made by local artists. Some of the show at Delurk will spill over to Mixer's yard. Some of the larger pieces that won't fit inside the building at Delurk will be displayed at our place. Live demonstrations, classes, interactive activities for people of all ages. Plus, we have built a fire-breathing dragon. Well, we're in the process of building the fire-breathing dragon, I should say. But we have been testing the actual fire portion with the dragon's mouth this week. So it's coming along nicely. And then the finale of the whole event in the afternoon, probably starting around 4 or 5 o'clock, we'll fire up the furnaces and we'll melt a few tons of iron down and pour it into molds that the public has created. And the whole team of people who would be there pouring the iron are all artists from all over the state, North Carolina, actually some Virginia and Tennessee as well, lots of college art students there. And every one of those people bring molds with them that are very complex, that take weeks to make. And if you stay late enough, you'll get to see us crack open some of those molds. But we won't finish until after dark. That's mainly because of all the flames and everything that just make it such a spectacle to see.
Who's ready for movie night? Our friends at the Ginther Group Real Estate are proud to sponsor another season of innovation and cinema at Bailey Park in downtown Winston-Salem's Innovation Quarter. The next film is the Super Mario Brothers movie on Friday, June 21st. Bring your chair or blanket to Bailey Park for a great night of cinema from Aperture and beverages and food from a variety of local vendors. Pre-film fun begins at 6:30 p.m. and the movie begins at dark. These magical movie nights are made possible by the Ginther Group, the real estate experts we trust and showcase right here on the Triad Podcast Network. Check their social media for info on each upcoming movie night. And for your real estate needs, call 336-283-8689 or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning. Whatever you need, start now. And like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
Alan and I have been talking about mixer, which I think when we first started talking about it, it didn't even have a name yet.
Yeah.
It was a community makerspace idea. And I was very interested in supporting it. I really wanted to be a part of it, but the woodworking and the basic metal working equipment are all things that I have in my home studio. You know, two sculptors living in a house. We have a lot of tools. 4 bedrooms, one that's used for sleeping. The rest of it is studio space. But when he came into Delurk Gallery and said the word iron pour to me, I snapped to attention because that is something I cannot do on my own. It's not something anyone can really do on their own. It requires a community of dedicated people who understand the safety. And I got out all my old leathers and figured out what was rotten and what I needed to replace, and I participated in the first iron pour, and I've been involved in them ever since. So that drew me into the mixer community because it was something I couldn't do. And after that, I've also used the wood shop, because sharing a wood shop with your wonderful artist spouse, sometimes you're fighting for the equipment. So it's nice to have a place to go. So I have an annual membership to Mixer as an individual, and maintained that through the pandemic.
Yeah, we sure did.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, it was a tough time, but we made through it.
Yeah.
As a community.
And Delurk has also featured artists that are involved, the sculptors that are involved in the iron pour, in a couple of different shows over the years. So this show this year is something we've been talking about, and we finally have, I think, a big enough community that we're going to be able to really make this work.
So tell us the name again.
2 shows that'll be running simultaneously at the gallery. One of them is Arts on Fire, which is really focused on all of the artists that are participating in the month, what we used to call the Month of Fire at Mixer. Month of Metal.
Yeah.
Which those will be, any of the artists that are teaching classes are welcome to bring in work for that. So we're really featuring and highlighting those artists. And then we're also doing an open call show, which is a competitive juried show, and artists are invited, and the name of that show is Ignition Transmutation. Anything that is transformed by fire or made with fire is eligible, and if we can't fit it in the gallery, but it'll withstand being outdoors, it'll go to Mixer. So those 2 shows will run together. One featuring the guest artists, and the other one trying to draw in a community of fire makers from all over.
Yeah. Ignition Transmutation is a juried show.
Right.
And
there'll be
prizes.
prize money.
Yeah.
So there's a small fee to enter, and all of the money that we collect from entry fees will go towards supporting the show. Most of that will go towards prize money. So people have an opportunity to win some money back.
How hot do you got to work up iron in order to melt it?
Well, it melts somewhere close to 3,000 degrees. It's a little less than 3,000 degrees.
Yeah, it depends, because it's an ultimate recycled art material.
Yeah,
it depends on the actual makeup of the iron.
Yeah, the iron is stuff that we've collected. And by the way, if you have an old bathtub, cast iron bathtub, and you really need to get rid of it,
radiators,
let us know.
This is a great place to. The impurities will come out in the wash when you heat it up that much?
Yeah, they will. Yeah, the furnace is going to get up to about 3,600 degrees. So it's well, I will tell you this. The first time I participated in an iron pour, I was covered head to toe in leather safety gear. And I thought I knew what really hot was, and I found out I was very wrong about what really hot was. Somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said that I need to roll out of where I was standing, and they could roll in and take my place. And when I stepped away, I realized that my arm, my leather jacket, was smoking where it was getting ready to spontaneously combust. It was getting ready to catch itself on fire just from the radiating heat from the iron. not only is it really hot, when that hot iron hits the cool atmosphere, it will react to it. And sometimes that means there's sparks flying up in the air. And I've watched videos of people doing different things with iron. And some of those videos, it just looks like this tiny little person in this huge universe of sparks. We're not doing that. We want to keep everybody safe, but as we grow the event, someday we may be able to do some of that because it's fireworks. It's really interesting to watch, but that liquid metal pouring out of there, it's just white hot. It's gorgeous to watch how it shimmers as it flows and the heat is leaving it. It's really worth taking the time to go see.
How hot are the kilns that melt glass and shape that?
They're probably close to the same.
Yeah, maybe a little cooler. It depends on if you're doing fusing or hot glass, like glass blowing. Mm-hmm. The more liquid the glass is, the hotter it is. Glass work is different in that there's a lot of steps you have to take to keep the glass from just exploding as it cools off.
Yeah. Do you guys access all recycled iron?
Well, an engine block would be too big for us to handle. It's too thick. We wouldn't be able to break it up into small enough pieces. So bathtubs and sinks are great because we smash everything up into little Dorito-sized pieces, and those melt down while we're doing everything. If you get too many big chunks in there, it'll create a cool spot. Cool meaning it's just too cool to melt, and then it'll plug up the furnace, and we'll have to take it all apart.
It's kind of like building a fire. You can't throw a big log on there. You know, it's not gonna work unless it's super hot. But I imagine you don't want to touch the outside of the heat system with your bare finger. It'd cause you to lose your fingerprint.
Yeah, you don't really want to touch it much, even with your gloves that are rated for doing that. You certainly don't want to leave your hand in contact with it for any time. Yeah. But there is insulation around that to hold the heat in so that we can get a good melt on it.
I mean, if you look at the history of peoples and the smithy and the way that swords were made and horseshoes and other metal instruments, that was part of the evolution of humans and their ability to move away from, not being able to have metal products. I guess weapons were designed, farming materials, other things that were probably important, jewelry, and all of this kind of takes advantage of this ancient technology, right?
Oh yeah. So metal casting has been around for at least 3,000 years, and there may be some evidence to support even farther back than that.
And every major company that manufactures any made good has some metal casting, in all likelihood, in there, unless they hire it out to somebody else for a specific piece.
It's common, yeah. But it's also pretty specialized. So there's so many different versions of metal casting. What we're doing is more of a primitive way of doing it that's accessible. It doesn't require a PhD in chemistry to be able to do it. Everybody on the POUR team are all artists. Many of them have been to school to become artists and are professional artists with very successful careers. And the thing that I think I love the most about the Iron Pour is all of the college students that will be there from arts programs from UNCG, East Carolina. There's a University of Tennessee in Knoxville. We'll probably have some students from there this year. And there's a couple of people came down to from Virginia last year. Then they may bring more people, but it's passing along a tradition. It's passing along a tradition that people want to be a part of the tradition, and people of all these different generations. From Carl, who is 80 years old, he's been doing pouring iron for over 50 years, all the way down to the 18-year-old student from UNCG. They have this bond that's really strong between them, and they generationally couldn't be much more different from each other. It's why I do it. It's why I break my back and spend hours out in the heat breaking up old iron things so that we have enough iron for our iron pour, because the relationships that are built through these iron pours are really strong, and we've got each other's back, and we welcome newcomers to come try it. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we're having classes, so people can come just dip their toe in and make a really simple open face mold. The Arts Council gave us funding, so they're on sale. They're only $24 for somebody to come grab an open face mold and carve a design into it. And Jennifer's made some beautiful ones that we'll have on display so people can get, some inspiration for that. And then we also have opportunities for people to sign up to build a more complex mold. And that's what the students are going to be doing from the colleges, and we'll have that here available to the general public as well. But Arts on Fire is not just about iron, because iron's not for everybody. It's about creating art with fire. So we'll have classes on making art with glass. We'll have different ways you can make art using fire and wood, from Shoshugiban, which is a way to finish wood products, all the way down to using our laser cutter, which burns through the wood to cut it, so you can create a digital design and then have it cut out in wood for you. And there's all of our classes that we'll have from August 10th to September 15th are just ways for people to create art using iron.
The Japanese form of art reminds me, like I saw that on your social media, and it's like a quick burn, which leaves a nice coloration on the exterior of the wood.
Yeah. And sometimes the wood burned edge from the laser is part of the actual design. It usually creates this really dark brown color when it burns through the wood.
And that's also a way to temper wood and bamboo to make it stronger.
That's really compelling. So this is a wide-ranging relationship with fire to create art and other needed components for daily life throughout time.
Yeah, we're going to have knife forging, and then, right, that's one of our classes.
Yeah,
and our one of the things that we're doing as a part of our August stuff is for the Art Crush, which is on August 16th. We're also teaming up with the new chef at 6th and Vine Restaurant, and he's going to do fire-centered food that's free to the public. So if you come down and you want to work on doing a scratch block, an open-faced mold, and also test some fire food with Michael Spencer, and he's very interested in the foraging and the knife making.
Oh, excellent.
He did ice sculpture with chainsaws for the first Art Crush of the year, and for this he's really excited about having some spectacle.
It's time to get serious about your financial future. It's never too early, but it could be too late to get started. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, getting started. How much do I save? Where do I invest? Do I save for college or retirement? How much for each? And who do I talk to about it all? Okay, we'll keep things simple for now and help you answer the last one. We recommend you begin with a local financial advisor. And that's Jennifer Johnson of Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. She'll sit down with you for a complimentary introductory consultation and go over all of your questions. Get started on the path to achieving your financial goals. Visit 3magnoliasfinancialadvisors.com or call 336-701-1600. Get comfortable with your financial future. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. Retirement, financial planning, and investments. Securities offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors. 3 Magnolias Financial Advisors and Cetera Advisor Networks are not affiliated. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity.
You look at society today, and so many people are involved in the emergence of new technologies such as artificial intelligence or anything that's internet-based, and here we are talking about innovation in what is a many centuries old, maybe millennia old technology. And I think that you guys are just as excited, and it's just as great for building communities and relationships and jobs and other things that, at some point things have to be made physically. Things have to be held by hand. I think it's compelling that there are some people that believe, they call it peak energy, and a lot of other people have more apocalyptic thoughts, but I read some science fiction and some other books that get into the end of the world, like post-apocalyptic thrillers is what they're called. But there's people that envision things like electromagnetic pulses or the end of technology and the end of efficient fuels, and we're all going back to time before we had computers and time before transportation, and that we'd have to learn all of these skills, and you guys would be our only hope for communicating these skills to the wider audience, because I think they're largely being lost by most of society outside of specialized manufacturers.
Yes. Yeah. It's getting more difficult to make things. That's why Mixer exists in the first place. For the cost of 1 year of membership, you could not buy even one of many of the different tools that we have in our shop.
Well, for example, not to mention the workspace. My year of membership at Mixer is less than 1 month of studio space.
In the myriad of things that happen downtown, there's so many cool things. We just had the Gears and Guitars race recently in downtown, and there's many other things, and I love the things and the wide ranging of things that happen downtown, and I just want to thank you both for being downtown. And what made you decide to come downtown with Mixer?
It was a place where people enjoy going, for one thing. But if you live downtown, it is possible for you to walk, not get in your car, to do a lot of the things that you want to do, or even just get on a bicycle and go around town. And a lot of our members who live in the downtown area do walk to our place, ride their bicycles there, and they enjoy the exercise and the fresh air and the sunshine and all that stuff on their way. If you don't live downtown, you're going to drive to do just about everything.
Yeah.
So it just made sense to be downtown from that perspective. But the Industry Hill neighborhood was a place where what we saw was opportunity. The same way the artists who moved into Trade Street, 40 years ago?
Yeah,
saw opportunity when other people saw the bad part of town, with air quotes here. What a lot of people call the bad part of town is just the part of town where the artists haven't moved in yet.
Yeah.
And then once the creative people get in there, they create a vibe that other people want to be around. And that's what we saw beginning at Industry Hill. We knew we could be a part of that. Just like Jennifer and the work that she's done in the Arts District has made it a place where people will drive to and spend hours visiting and enjoying themselves. Industry Hill is also becoming that place.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming by to tell us about this exciting new day coming up on September 15th. That's correct, right?
That's the finale of the event. So you want to go through the dates real quick?
Yeah, so the art exhibit opens August 2nd at Delurk, and we'll have all kinds of different activities associated with that. We're also going to do People's Choice Awards, which will go on throughout the month. People can vote on what their favorite piece is. We're going to do this through raffle ticket system, so people will buy a raffle ticket, and then they'll vote put their phone number on the raffle ticket, and then vote by putting it in a jar next to the work of art that they like the best, and the winning work of art. That artist will get.
Make a vote anytime.
Anytime we're open, which is Wednesday through Saturday, noon to 6, Sunday noon to 4, and anytime there's a late night event that we're open for, which would be the Art Crush and Gallery Hops. We're also open, The Delurk means to participate in something you previously only spectated. So the goal of that was to get artists involved in the gallery business so we could have control of what was shown in Winston. We don't show work to sell necessarily. We show work to share. And we hope that because we're showing and sharing work that we would like to see, that's often only shown in larger markets, that it will get people excited and they'll buy local art instead of going to a larger market to buy work from artists who might live in Winston-Salem, but only actually end up getting to take home 30% of that art sale. When we show work at Delurk, the artist at minimum takes away 60% of the price, all the way to 80% if it's a member, a participating member.
How many artists does Delurk work with and associate with?
Well, our regular membership, combining full and part-time members and at-large members who may, just participate quarterly, we have about 15 regular members, and then we show the work of between 100 and 170 artists a year.
Wow.
And this year we're really focused on community and community-based exhibits. So this show is in addition, we're doing a lot of curated shows with multiple artists involved. We're doing a show in June that's called Quackery, which is inspired by, and snake oil salesman, so it's inspired by the history of medicine throughout time. We're doing, in July, we're doing a show which is curated by Clark Whittington, who is the founder of Artemat, who's also curating the Art Crush that month, and the focus is on working artists and also the origin of his photo work. It's sort of the story of Clark's. In some ways, it's the backstory of Artemat and his photography, but in other ways, it's moving ahead because he's an installation artist, so we'll have an installation there. Then we're doing this show, the Arts on Fire Ignition Transmutation competitive show, and then right after that, we're doing our kitchen sink show. So our idea is to try to get artists back out of their studios into the galleries. There's still people hiding post-COVID, and we're really focusing on this community. So this year we may show over 200 artists. We're hoping that will be the case.
That's really cool. If people are really interested in arts, and this is a great way to get engaged, and one of your two organizations are in your collaborative efforts. In closing, do you guys have anything else that you guys would like to add?
There will be activities at Delurk on August 2nd, August 16th. Classes at Mixer start on August 10th, which is a Saturday. Every Saturday we'll have plenty of classes, but we'll also have classes during the week after work hours from between the hours of 5 and 8. And that's in not only metal crafts, but it's also in glass, wood, a lot of different ways of creating art with fire. We will be at Art Crush partnering with Jennifer so that people can create molds at all of the events on Trade Street. And then on September 15th, the finale on Sunday, in addition to the food trucks and the music, there'll be family-friendly games. There'll be demonstrations, more classes people can take, and then in with the iron pour. And we invite people to come. If you just want to come watch, September 15th is the day to do it. If you want to come get involved, there's no price of admission. No, just show up. But you're gonna want to buy some food off one of those food trucks because, man, they have some really great food trucks there. And then we're going to have a lot of fantastic artists there selling their wares. So plan to come have a good time. Yeah, bring your own lawn chair. We're going to have a few chairs there, but we're also expecting quite a few people to be there.
It's a Saturday night.
It's actually a Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah, we've never done this on a Sunday before.
What time did you say the event was going to be?
From 1 till sundown on September 15th. Yeah.
8:30?
Yeah, something like that. We have gone as late as midnight, but we're trying to avoid doing that this year.
Because we still have to clean up after that, so.
Yeah. School starts early this year. They're moving it up 2 weeks, I think, or something like that. Yeah. I know that I still got one that's going to be a sophomore, but I'm just blown away. This sounds so cool.
Yeah, we're excited about it. And, this is something that we've been working on for quite some time. But
you branded it this event name before?
No, we've had the Night of Fire, which was our contribution to the Industry Hill Block Party that we used to do.
Right.
And Mixer actually accidentally founded the Industry Hill Block Party by just planning to have a party, and when the neighbors found out, everybody wanted to be involved.
Right.
But the industrial block party seems to have kind of run its course because there's always some special event. So it's almost like we have an industrial block party every weekend when the weather's nice. So we decided that we were going to try partnering with the Food Truck Festival this year, and Sunday is a day when most people have the day off. We have had trouble with some people being able to make it to a Saturday event. So what we're doing is just reacting to things the public have told us over the years and seizing on an opportunity to partner with the Food Truck Festival, which people love.
Arts on Fire.
Arts on Fire. Yep. You can
love
find
that.
us at wsmixer.org and Delurk Gallery.squarespace.com, right?
It's delurkgallery.com.
DelurkGallery.com?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll get you there. It is a
you can-
Squarespace site, but
Yeah, and you can find both on Facebook and Instagram too.
It's going to be the event of the season.
Yes. It's going to be the hottest event in Winston-Salem.
That we'll let you close on that because that was the best good one. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks,
yeah,
Jason.
thanks for having us.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode on the Triad Podcast Network. Our mission is simple: provide information, advice, and stories about the people and places that make the North Carolina Triad such a great place to be. You can find us by searching Triad Podcast Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much wherever you like to listen. If you like what you heard and want to support the show and those that contribute, we would truly appreciate a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps spread the word along, as do your shares on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Triad Podcast. To get in touch with us, simply email info@triadpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.